Well, Chris, welcome to the Screen Innovations Experience Center here in Austin, Texas.
I'm back.
It's great to have you, man. It's great to have you.
Yeah.
I wanted to invite you down because obviously we got something really cool happening here with our new DT masking screen. We've just installed our first dual masking screen here at the factory in Austin, Texas, and I got to say, I'm kind of digging it.
Yeah, it's I really like it. So this is brand new, right? You guys
Brand new.
haven't done this one before, so this is brand new material that you guys are doing. And notice that there's still the slate acoustically transparent behind there.
That's one of our benefits. So DT is the maker of the actual screen itself, the mechanics, the screen. We're the makers of the material. So what we're looking at is slate and a microperf. So this is one of our little unicorn things here. This is the first masking system with an ALR material attached to it. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Now, why would we use
Most of them are white.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're usually talking about a unity gain white or a woven material. And of course, then we get the question of, well, why would I use an ambient light rejecting screen in a light controlled theater?
Oh, why wouldn't you?
Why wouldn't you? Well, the reason being first, with slate, the same technology that rejects the ambient light coming into the screen also keeps the light from bouncing off the screen.
Yeah, into the walls,
Into
into
the
the carpet. 'Cause
bingo.
most people have white carpet and they don't want to rip it out just because they want to put in a projection system.
Right. And you remember, it's been a while, but you remember Home Theater 101 class? Don't paint your home theater red, green, or blue? Right. Well, if you have a white screen, it's because the light hits the white screen, bounces to the red wall, bounces back to the screen. Now you get a red
Influences the
color
screen,
push.
yeah.
Yeah, it really affects the color. With slate, that's not an issue. The room will be 70% darker just because of the screen. We've also got the contrast enhancement. So we've been measured 700% improvement in contrast. So the screen, this is one of the only screens in existence that can actually improve your contrast. Well, if it improves it by 700% with the lights on, it's still improving it by 700% with the lights off. So again, much, much better blacks and whites, much, much wider contrast ratio than any other white unity gain screen out there.
Man, this is looking good.
Yeah, you know,
Check out the beard.
what I've also found is, yeah, there you go. He's on fire, man. What I've also found is that most masking systems that are out there in the wild today have been out there in the wild for a while, right? This is a new build. This is coming from England. Display Technologies is the builder of this. And like I said, what they've done is it was 5 installers that finally had it with installing a masking system and basically created this company. And what they've done for us is, you've seen me, I'm just hitting the IRI and doing the remote with our presets, but we also have the ability to tie the DT screen to a MAD VR. And when MAD VR goes, hey, DT screen, I want you in 1x7/8, the screen goes to 1x7/8. It doesn't go to a preset stop point that you hung out the side of the closet going, meh, meh, meh,
Yeah.
meh, 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 and set. It goes to that aspect ratio every time. The advantage being is, as you probably know, when you set those stop points on another screen, you got to come back a couple years later because they've drifted a little bit. And your customer's calling up saying, I'm seeing these weird shadows. Okay, because it drifted a little bit. These don't drift. So no drift at all. Also, Chris, the installation is unbelievably simple. From the box to the wall is about an hour.
Like, we're talking like a box or like a crate?
I'm talking about a crate. So yeah, a crate on wheels. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
So it's a crate on wheels, and you never ever touch the floor. I love that. You don't have to have 2 guys build the screen on the floor and then call the other 4 guys over from another job to help you lift the 500-pound screen up on the wall.
Yeah.
It's literally built on the wall in sections. In fact, let me come over to your side here and we'll show you one of those sections. Once you build the screen, then the frame simply comes on with magnets.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's very simple to
Beefy magnets, too.
Yeah,
Those are-
beefy magnets.
Those are thick mamas.
Yeah. So you build it in the frame first, and then another hour to install the material. And then you take your frame and simply click it back into place. And you got to do a little love push here and there to get everything lined up properly. But
I dig it.
yeah, very, very simple to do. Very, very simple to do.
Yeah, this is for those customers that, you know, they have all kinds of different aspect ratios that they're watching. Maybe they have a catalog of stuff that they've had for years. You know, maybe they have I Love Lucy that they want to keep watching,
Yeah.
4:3, the old school Simpsons, 4:3. And then you have your standard TV stuff, like say you want to watch Seinfeld, it's in 16:9.
Every night. I don't know about you guys, but you can see the white hair. We're watching Frasier and Seinfeld again every night. It seems like, yeah.
And then so say you want to watch you know, Avengers and it's in 235, which is ultra wide, or you know, that's the ability to do this. Like, to me, as a cinema purist, I love having the big image possible whenever I'm watching movies. Whenever I'm watching like F1, Formula 1 on Netflix, I don't care.
Yeah.
You know, if it fills up the entire screen, it's not that big of a deal for me.
Well, the thing about masking is, besides it being like super rad, There's actually science behind it. There's a reason we want to bring the black surface into the bright surface. And that's about our brain's perception of contrast. It's a big deal. When we don't have a black surface next to the bright image, it greatly affects your brain's ability to see black versus white. When we bring that black stripe, the frame, right in next to the surface, your brain suddenly goes, wow, look at that, and you've improved your contrast. Now the meter won't see it, but your eye and your brain will. So that's why
it's like a focal point.
Exactly, it's like a focal point. That's why every professional movie theater you go to, AMX, the Alamos, you start the previews, curtains are in here, and then the movie starts. If it's something, again, what's in 235 or 240, you'll see the curtains pull out, but they always have that black surface right next to the screen surface.
I mean, I know you're talking, man, but I just keep staring at this.
I know, it's amazing, isn't it?
It's really good.
It is, and that's the great thing about Slate. We've got a lot of light in this room. We're in our office. When Chris will turn the camera around, you'll see fluorescence all over there. We got our windows down and with our drapes down, or shades down rather. This gives you the ability to turn the lights off and watch the game. But if Chris comes over to my house to watch the game and I want to turn the lights on, yeah, I do, because, those aren't pillows.
Yeah.
So video games, sports, shopping, concert videos, turn the lights on. And when you want to snuggle and watch a movie in the dark, you have that option too. That's the ability of doing this, is you get the option, lights on or off.
That's kind of the thing, especially with acoustically transparent screens. They're usually like a woven or knit material. But if you have that, it's like flicking on the lights whenever you're in math class and you can't see anything. You're trying to sit there, write everything down for the bell rings. Whenever you have a white screen, you can't see anything anymore. So say if you want to like get up and talk to the person next to you or actually see your food to where you're not wearing it, that's kind of one of the ideas with having some lights on. It's going to help your eyes actually with the eye fatigue as well.
Right. Yeah, the eye fatigue is actually a thing.
Lights on versus it could be completely dark and then you spill everything all over yourself.
That's right. So we've got options. What we're looking at right now is our dual masking, 2S. 2S, S standing for side masking, right? I've got two masks coming in and out. I've got a 2TB, top bottom, where instead of coming in left and right, it comes in top and bottom. And then I've got the four-way masking system where we do the sides and top and bottom. And then finally, there's a one-way masking where it comes down from the top. It's what are you trying to do? What's your goals and what's your budget? And we've got a masking system that'll fit that budget. Now, one of the questions that Chris, and I want to throw kind of back and forth between us both, because this comes up all the time, is when do I do 235 native versus a 16:9 native? In other words, given the room, do I want to start with a big 16:9 and then crop that down to 235, or do I want to start with a native 235 and then crop that into 16:9? What are your personal notes on that? Do you have them?
It's kind of a back and forth in between those. You have to be two different people. You're either a sports car guy or you're an SUV guy.
Yeah,
so
that's a great analogy.
I don't want to compromise on total image size. So I would say let's start with the 16:9 because that's going to give you the biggest footprint anyway. And then whenever you actually shrink down to or mask down to a 235, say you have like a 160, you're probably going to be like at a 152 whenever you go from different sizes. So if on the opposite, you're on a 235 screen, which is say like a 144, and then you go to 16:9, the sides, the difference that you lose going from this 235 to 16:9, it's like, I think 115 from 144. It's nuts.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm paying the same amount of money for the projector. I want to be able to watch as much as image as possible with good focus and good contrast.
I agree. In fact, the number I usually say is a 150 235. If you're not going to go bigger than in 235 than 150, then it's probably better to go with a bigger 16:9 and crop down than it is to crop in on that 150. Because as you were saying, a 150 in 235, when I bring those black bars in, that's now a 120 in 16:9. I think that's a good size to be at. But if you start going smaller than 150 and 235, like you're saying down to 140 or to even 120, now that 16:9 image is starting to get pretty small.
Yep.
And kind of losing that big screen experience effect. So yeah, it's a conversation to have with your designer about where to start. We're going to start in native 16:9, or we're going to do 235 and do a constant height theater, right? So that being said, lots happening in theaters, right? Now we have ambient light rejecting screen materials available on masking systems, but this isn't the only ambient light rejecting screen material we have available for DT. We are just about to announce acoustically transparent.
We also have another one.
We got another one, and you're the first ones to hear about it. Carbon black is going on DT masking. Carbon black is our latest ambient light rejecting screen material from the company Carbon Black. Liam, the inventor of Carbon Black, has been gracious enough to partner with us here at Screen Innovations. They don't build at Carbon Black. They don't build frames. They don't build motorized. They build the backdrop for Adele's concert in Vegas. So they're busy doing big shows. They've turned the material over to us to bring it out to the masses. And I'm very excited to bring Carbon Black into the residential world because we're about to see in the video, there's nothing like Carbon Black on the market right now. So you want to go check it out?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. All right, so here we are in the Screen Innovations Thunderdome, also a part of our experience here in Austin, Texas, standing in front of a 200-inch diagonal 16:9 Carbon Black Hybrid Pro. Now, we've got a couple versions of Carbon Black. Our favorite go-to, if you will, kind of the 80% rule right now, is the Hybrid Pro. It gives you the very best and deep rich blacks, but also it gives you that pop. Like you're seeing the whites, you're seeing the skin tones, you're seeing the colors. We're getting a lot of pop with both our combination of Carbon Black Hybrid Pro and our Barco UDX Series 32. This is a 32,000 lumen projector, Chris, but right now we're shooting at about 20,000 lumens because if I did the full 32,000 lumens, I'm afraid I'd burn a hole right through the wall. So that's what's great about Carbon Black. It's a new ambient light rejecting screen material that's been done a very different way. First of all, I wanted to show you on my meter here that I've got 8-foot candles of light right here with Chris and I. Right, so this is a fairly bright room. It's like, think house of worship, think bright living room, right? And look at that right there. One of the hardest things for a projecting screen to produce is blacks, obviously, but also reds. And that red you just saw go by was about as red as you can get. But because we're using Carbon Black, and because Carbon Black is a woven material, which is different than black diamond and slate. Black diamond and slate are your optical materials. And so because of that, black diamond and slate have very defined viewing cones. Right? If you step outside of the viewing cone of Carbon Black or black diamond, you're going to notice the opposite side of the screen gets very dark very quick. That's how the ambient light rejecting works. With Carbon Black, it's built in and woven into the material. So I have a stupid wide viewing cone. In fact, I'm standing here with my head up against the wall and I can see the little sparkly thing happening just fine.
Yeah, it doesn't matter where you are in the room.
No.
You're still getting that image.
It's perfect.
Can't really say that about the other things that are out there to get some big size, but this is really incredible.
Yeah, so think of like less residential but more commercial. Think house of worship, where normally I'd have to have a screen in the middle, but I'm using a fan seating, so I can't hit those corner pews. I'd have to put another screen in another screen. So we'd have 3 screens going across the stage. With Carbon Black, we do one giant screen, and everybody over there, and everybody over there, and everybody in the middle can see the same image. Now, this version that we have of Carbon Black Hybrid Pro is with a backer. So if I were to flip this screen around, you'd see a white surface on the back. We also have acoustically transparent. So I could place my Myers sound line array directly behind Carbon Black in our house of worship or a live concert gig or a nightclub. And again, hide the speakers completely. Or I could place my Carbon Black Hybrid Pro acoustically transparent on our masking system.
Yep.
And again, place this in your theater. And then we have what we like to call the black mask, right? Black surface, black frames, everything's black. Man, it just looks incredible.
Easier to hit those inky blacks whenever you have something that's a little darker.
Much easier. We're going to turn the lights on and off and do some B-roll for you guys after we get chatting here for a minute. Now let's talk about projector placement. Black diamond and slate, I can only use a long throw projector. The closer the projector gets into its throw, like some of these projectors can still go to a 0.8 all the way back to 1.4. But if I get into that 0.8 throw range, I'm gonna notice some hot spotting with black diamond and slate, right? With Carbon Black, I can literally place an ultra short throw projector right here, or up there. Now that's different, right? We can normally have to do short throw projectors from shooting low to high with ambient light rejecting screen materials like our ST material. Yep. With Carbon Black, I can shoot them low and up, or I can do short throw from high and up, or I can do middle throw, or the projector can be all the way to the back of the arena. We can also edge blend. So I can have multiple projectors creating the singular image on the screen. That's something, again, that's very difficult for other ALR materials to do. Carbon Black's built for that.
Kind of like those Van Gogh pop-ups that are around that have multiple projectors.
Exactly.
You can have the entire experience and go seamlessly from left to right.
Exactly. So don't think of just putting a TV image on Carbon Black. You want to think atmosphere, right? Because we can make this entire wall one piece of Carbon Black with, say, a 200-inch image in the middle, and the rest of the framed out area is whatever you want it to look like. Another way to look at Carbon Black is in a dedicated theater is not only as your image surface, But what about a stretch fabric going down the walls?
Yeah.
Right? I can pull it down that wall, I can pull it down that wall, my speakers are behind it, and then I can put short throw projectors on those walls. So imagine if I had lined that whole wall left and my whole wall right with LEDs. Same thing with carbon black. We pull the stretch material across, we fire projectors onto it, and when I walk into my room today, it's the Tuscan room. Tomorrow, it's the Star Wars room. The next day, it's the Lord of the Rings room.
Man, you just gave me an idea.
There you go. Well, we accept American Express, Visa, and MasterCard. So, so there's so many boxes that carbon black checks. Really, the only thing to be aware of as a designer is it requires lumens. So, like for instance, what you would put lumens on a black diamond, you need twice that for carbon black. You know, simple math. So, for instance, right now we've got 32,000 lumens available to us. We're using 20,000 lumens of what that projector has. But again, be thinking higher lumens than you're typically used to when it comes to.
With all the lights on.
Yeah, exactly. It also requires a 4K, native 4K image. Because it's a woven material, you don't want to go down to 1080p or you run into some more issues. All right. So there are very little restrictions. The only one being really it needs to be 4K, not a problem. It needs to be bright, again, not a problem. Barco, digital projections, Christie's. Sony's got the 10,000 lumen residential projector that is fan-freaking-tastic. We can put that on up to a 150-inch diagonal 235 screen or up to 120-inch 16 by 9 and absolutely fantastic for the living room or the dedicated theater. But in the commercial environment, for your bar, nightclub, for your house of worship, basically this is an LED wall alternative. I would put this image up against any LED wall on the market. And remember, the advantage of a projector and screen versus LEDs is you date your projector and screen. You marry your LED, right? And what I mean by that is we can put your 4K projector in with your 200-inch screen. A couple of years later, if you want to upgrade to your 8K projector, then to your 12K projector, we give you that path. When you hang an LED wall on the wall, hope you love it because you're married to it, it's never going to change. It's going to be the same thing and it's going to stay with the house. This one, oh, what's the other thing? See, there's so many cool things about carbon black, sometimes I forget to mention. This is actually a foldable material. So if you road warriors out there, we're coming out soon with a fast fold version of this, right? Where you can literally fold, and I've got a picture of this, I'll share it with you so we put it in the video, where literally this entire screen folds up into a smaller footprint than one of these tiles here.
Whoa.
Yeah, so also very easy to move. In the commercial world, we're actually talking to some really cool shooter gallery guys, all right? So they have a mobile shooting gallery where they set it up in a warehouse and they bring guys in to do shooting training and that kind of thing. So yeah, that's a piece of the ST material. That's probably the coolest demo in all. Yeah, it's the coolest demo. There you go. Let's show you what we got here. This is the coolest demo in all of screens because I don't get to do physical demos very often. So what you're seeing over there is white, right? That's what the projector sees when it's looking at our short throw material, not the carbon black, but our short throw material. We'll show you that in a minute. But check this out when I turn it, right? Look at that. So this is ambient light rejection technology specifically for short throw screens. So this leads right into the conversation that now at Screen Innovations, we have a family of ALR solutions. We've got carbon black, we've got ST for short throw, we've got slate, and we've got black diamond. No company on the planet has more ALR alternatives than Screen Innovations, and definitely no company on the planet has built as many ALR solutions as we have.
Black diamond, slate.
Yeah.
And this is much less reflective. So that's
Yeah.
for, say, like the living room environment where you do have, same thing as like if you were to get a micro LED, how they have two different types. They have the ones that are super glossy.
And then the matte finish.
Matte. So if you have high light environment, this looks like something that would be better there because you don't have to worry about the reflections from up top.
Exactly.
Or even the windows from around.
Yeah. So if you see the black surface here, what we're talking about is it's a matte finish. It doesn't look wet. You don't have that wet OLED look or that wet LED look.
Yeah,
it looks more natural,
realistic.
especially with like feathers, right? The lips, the skin tones. It really looks, when you're standing this close to it, or even you're standing anywhere in the room, it looks more natural, right? Than any other screen surface I've seen. And again, if you put this up against an LED wall or an OLED, I'd be happy to take that bet. I think we've got a winner here. So you notice with all these lights on, there's absolutely no glare on the screen at all. So no glass, no Lexan, no glare, right? So super wide viewing cone. Place the projector short, medium, long, on the floor or on the roof, acoustically transparent or not, rollable, foldable, and 16 feet native in height and 99 feet long native in length. However, if you want to make it bigger, I can sew it. So that's another thing versus LEDs. If you break my screen, you just sew it, so it fix it, right? We did the Adele show at Caesar's Palace with carbon black, a 90-foot Adele image back there, right? And that was we just sewed it, right? Not a problem there at all. Adele saved over $2 million a show, and we got this posted on our website. She actually helped write the review on carbon black. She was so impressed with the stuff. She used this instead of an LED wall for her residency at Caesar's Palace recently. And that's because, again, the whole stage was nothing but carbon black. Line arrays behind it, things were moving out, but it was all done with projectors and carbon black. In fact, it was only 5 projectors on the whole system.
It's incredible.
Yeah, and it's an amazing image. In fact, Jamie, a good friend of ours at JVC, I showed her the picture from the Adele show, and Jamie, before she knew we were even talking about carbon black, goes, "Oh, I was just at that show. That was one of the best images I've ever seen." I was like, "Well, this is what we used at that show."
Yeah.
So it's great for Adele. It's also great for you. You can have the exact same experience that Adele had at Caesar's Palace, but you can have it in your residential home theater, your house of worship, your bar or nightclub, your conference room.
So I guess that's it, huh?
Yeah, man. Pretty cool stuff. One thing I do want to let you guys know out there in our professionals community, we do not send out little tiny samples like we've always done before. We don't send out little tiny samples of carbon black because it doesn't work right for doing it with a little sample. So if you're really super interested, you're always welcome to come down here to Austin and check it out. But for dealers, right, we will send you out a built 115-inch diagonal carbon black built. It comes in a giant pizza box. So if you've been a Screen Innovations dealer, you know we've got these old pizza boxes back there. You literally take the screen out of the pizza box, either hang it on the wall or we can send you a stand, and then you can fire a projector up because you kind of got to see it in a full size to get what it's doing, right? So look at that. The reds, again, very difficult for screens to produce. Again, we're getting super great reds. And again, not that glossy, shiny kind of wet finish. So yeah, carbon black, available now.